All right, cool. I'm with Scott Gallagher, correct?
O'Gallagher.
Scott O'Gallagher.
The Irish and me, my parents would not let me know. I'm just playing.
Head honcho on the gameplay for college football 26 entering its sophomore season. Got some questions. So,
fire away.
One of the big things I was big on last year was the wear and tear system.
Nice.
So how's wear and tear going deeper for this year's version?
Deeper with the new physics-based tackling that we've introduced and brought in and really polished up. It really helped smooth out any of the resolutions that we needed. Even though I was really happy, I think the way it, like I mentioned in my stand-up there, was more or less of a gameplay balancing mechanic. And how we're going deeper was of things that you might have asked for. Why it was your different ways to sub. If you're a dynasty guy, more ways to change how you think the impact should go. Because believe it or not, that's what you would see. Oh, this should happen more. Quarterback should be hit more. But there was a lot that we did to even fine-tune when it comes to speed, weight, any type of momentum and how that's playing in. We have some of the smartest guys in the world going in here and looking at the damage and then how guys hit the ground and then the weather. The weather is also now a bigger impact. The coordinators are saying.
So even like the ground?
Oh, yeah. There's like the force multipliers that are popping in there. I mean, there's a lot. This system is incredibly deep, probably even more than I was even alluding to some of it last year. But again, we did it. And I said it multiple times, like, don't look at it like an injury system. That's not what it is. But like for us, one thing we were able to solve last year was the Jalen Milrows of the world that were unbelievably dynamic, right? And so as those things are happening, you see that all get solved with wear and tear and that balancing impact. So that part was great.
So since I would say it seems like the game is pretty slaughter heavy, allowing you guys to put more of a choice in the players' hands.
Yeah.
If you were to crank that all the way up to the most extreme, what are some of the results that we could see?
I mean, ideally, I think.
Is nobody making it through a season?
Are you talking about like in terms of wear and tear?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no way. Yeah. It's you want to turn those up. You can turn everything up from hit sticks to tackles to cut sticks to. I mean, there's everything. I feel like is in there, but it's your black box now. Mm-hmm. Go play as you want in there. And then the big thing that we've done with subs and then adding a new dynamic sub mechanic. So now you don't have to press start and go into the pause menu. But again, it was year one. And I was super happy with everything that we got in. But it's just stuff like that. You're just like, oh, can we push a little bit further? And that one, was one immediately. It's like, okay, let's go get this in.
Now, I don't know if this is more of a question for the Madden people, but does that career wear and tear carry over to the NFL if you import your player to Madden?
You know what? I'll let them answer that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, let them answer that tomorrow.
Now, with 300 Real Coaches, what are some of the more notable plays on either side of the ball that will be presented that weren't in the game originally last year? Since you have more access to these playbooks, is there something that you put your eyes on that's in the game that's like, wow, this is nuts, or this is a game changer? Is there anything in specific?
That's an awesome question. I would go with Penn State shotgun gate, where it looks like there's only like 3 or 4 people on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And then they ran it against my Trojans, right? Where they line up their tight end and he looks like he's playing left tackle.
Yeah.
He's but he's eligible. We went through all of that, and then as I was showing there, you see Delaware and all the things that they're doing now, part of the 136, but you look at like anything from schools of what Lagway's going to be doing in Florida to, what's going on at Florida State to what's going on with Lincoln Riley and my Trojans. And, and now that quarterback of Moss being out now. So, like, we're constantly calling around just to make sure that we're authentic as possible. And then, obviously, it was the Pro Football Focus and then really diving in there. Well, we did see these numbers. Do you expect this guy to change? And some coordinators and coaches are a little bit more, willing to give up information. So some of them, if we don't get it, then it's like, okay, well, then you're not as maybe accurately represented in this game as you would like. But some are great. Sat with Florida State, went to their campus last year. They were like one of the best. Here it is. Here's our locker rooms. Here's our shoes. Here's this. Here's how we treat the players. Here's everything.
Just looking for them wins.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear you. But, it's a prestigious school, so they'll be back on track. I mean, USC, we're going through it too, but we'll find a way. We'll find a way.
Kind of go into how the field vision works and the fact that we now have the I'm trying to think of the word for it. We now have where quarterbacks that are short are at a disadvantage, and that's actually in the game.
Did you like that, first of all?
I love that.
All right, that makes you that warms the old soul.
I'm a Bryce Young fan, so I'm a Panthers fan.
Oh, well, there you go. So if I asked you, let me turn this around to you. If I said, who do you think are the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time? Who would you have on your short list?
How tall is Montana?
About 6'2".
Really?
I think so. Yeah, 6'1", 6'2".
So Montana, Manning. I'm not giving Brady the benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
Montana, Manning. Well, you put Breeze in there. Breeze was short. Flutie was short.
Look at that. No, and short's fine. But you've pretty much all talked to pocket passers.
Yes.
Right? And the different schemes.
You put Cam Newton in there too.
Yeah.
He won an MVP.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Cam was incredible, especially in college.
But they're all tall.
Yeah, but they're tall. And mine was just more or less of like, hey, when they take these guys, even a Breeze, or not even a Breeze, but like in this state, but you look at like some of our head-to-head things, MCS or things like that, they'll prefer, even though he was great, a Randall Cunningham, Vic. I mean, Vic was obviously incredible in his day too. But it's like, hey, if you had one game to win, and I asked you who it was, it's going to probably be one of those. It's a Brady, it's a Montana, it's an Elway. I mean, those guys were, like Elway, mobile in his own right, but different. Like Marino's maybe the best pocket passer in terms of fouls. Oh yeah, like you could especially
Kelly.
Oh gosh, Jim Kelly and those days with Andre Reed and all them and Thurman Thomas but that's who you would go with. So our whole thing was just kind of trying, again, on dying on the hill balance, was trying to get back there because guys in our game would line up trips to a side and they throw a 2-yard drag and it's he's 6 feet tall. He's 5'10". Like he's not throwing in lanes or in windows or anything.
He's throwing above everybody.
Yeah, and so we're doing things that that try to augment that stuff. It was like, man, there should be more of a penalty to that. And so this whole thing kind of came together with that stunts and twists, manipulating the pocket, and getting the quarterback to change his launch point. It was all of those things kind of played together in the dynasty and recruiting.
And now that I'm out there playing at Florida State, I don't think Brock Glenn's that tall. And I benched the guy that brought him from Boston College. I don't think either one was that tall. Yeah. I'm wondering if that's kind of the problem I'm struggling. I'm having a great game right there. It's a defensive battle with Miami right now.
Which is great because the other one I heard, I just went over another unit like, oh, it's an offensive battle. And I was like, hey, that's it.
I think it just depends on the matchup when you go out there.
All as a gameplay director, that is it. That's so you have this story, he has this story, styles make fights like it does, playbooks, you're different, those are great.
One thing that was brought up in the presentation was, this is a question somewhere in there. One thing that was brought up in the presentation was the awareness. Seems to be a deeper difference this year to separate in terms of player awareness, no matter what the position is. I guess, like, if we have the option to completely expose somebody, is that just gonna be complete gimme to somebody that's has a superstar ability and the other guy's a freshman? And I know that was kind of brought in last year, but is that going to be a greater difference this year?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That was the goal. And then, like I was showing you on the go balls, and the motto I've always had for our gameplay team to be is like, whatever's easy for a pro to do should be easy for the user to do. Right. And so, like, when you're even, usually you're leaving, and you should be able to throw that ball. It's like man or that, or a back shoulder fade, or a back pylon fade, like, and not worry about the extreme case, that being it getting intercepted in a way in which it shouldn't. So again, bringing that in, it doesn't mean, hey, make it more offensive heavy, but we did a lot of things too that you'll read about in the blog, and that blog is long, but it talks about, it's over 40 pages now, and that's with no pictures, and but leverage and how it does. And I'm running a corner route, I got inside leverage, I can, I get more separation in certain cases. So we're going to that finite detail. So yeah, there should be long-winded answer there, but yeah.
The physics-based model, is that from Madden, or did you guys do something from Madden and kind of branch off of that and do your own thing?
No, so there was a looking at the reception it got last year on Madden, the good and the bad. It was, and then looking what we currently have, right? So you're just like, all right, well, it does this. This is college, but it does have this limitation. Mm-hmm. All right, Madden has this, does these things well, doesn't do these other things. Okay. All right, and then that's kind of the decision. Then, we had some great people, come on with some that were already there, and then really just fine-tuned it I'm dating myself, but it seems like even when you talk about like the feature set, it seems like from an '04 Madden to '05 Madden, in the defensive things. But that fundamental base is like where everything kind of stops and starts. And so we evaluated it like pretty hard. That's why I was like telling everybody there that I built so much trust with over my long time doing this now. It's just like, trust me, like this is a substantial upgrade. And if it wasn't, we wouldn't do it. And that was kind of the vibe I was trying to get across. Hopefully it did. But everything from the audio and everything that plays into it, and again, wear and tear, it's great.
Do you guys feel as if, I don't know if this is a thing, but if not being under one like major license has allowed you to have more creative freedom in what to put into college football?
I don't know, because I wasn't here the last time I was here, but I wasn't working on college football. It's a good question. I'm not probably not sure on that.
This game seems to have a lot of details, and I was mentioning to some people it feels like a sports game from 10 to 15 years ago in terms of the amount of sandbox options you have given the player this year with sliders across the board.
Right.
And I know that's what hardcore sports fans want, is the option to tailor the experience to what they want versus somebody coming and going, hey, we're doing this year. Yeah, we tweaked it. This is what you got. Other than, hey, we tweaked it, but at the same time, you can tweak it too. That's I feel
like that's the best of both worlds in that case. When it comes to like licensing or what you can and can't do, to be honest, I haven't run into any of those problems. Like our relationship with the CLC and all of them has been like short to nothing but outstanding. And so we will, talk about that stuff from pants above the knee to, bringing the jerseys up like you see, and anything that you saw on Saturday is like what we're trying to represent. I'm just like, okay, and if we can't, why? And then, okay, can't do this, cool. We have none of that, and our relationship there has been like incredible. What type of AI progression have we seen on both sides of the ball since it was mentioned? A lot. That was the biggest thing, was really separating the top guy from the quarterback 136. And so we had to overhaul the progression system, and that meant like, hey, that 65 awareness guy has that tunnel vision. And we want this to be not even just a college, a foundational feature across all of American football, because there's a reason why some of these rookie quarterbacks, I'll keep them nameless after this interview, but they'll give you 1 to 2 gimme balls a game. Like we see that on Sunday. Yeah. And then you look at like some of the FCS Southwest, all these teams we introduced last year, and they're getting diced by these low-rated quarterbacks. And it was like, that was kind of the one stinging point. And then we ended up patching it and doing some fixes there, but it was like, hey, let's just go back to the drawing board here. Why does he see what he sees? And then, each play's got its own progression, and then all the different scoring on it. Oh, he can hit it now, or like I was showing you in that clip, and an 85 guy can get to a backside slant because his pre-snap recognition is X. And so there's a lot going on. So hopefully you guys can appreciate some of that stuff behind the scenes, which is really cool. But that's another way of separating players. And then defensively, same thing. Changed, cut reaction time, break on ball. And then the biggest thing with awareness, as I was mentioning earlier, if a guy doesn't have his head turned, he can't play the ball. I've seen that already. Is that not? I've seen the linebacker, yeah. Because it feels like you're not getting cheated anyway. Like he's on at the time. Yeah, so it's just like there. It's like, oh, the goal ball's there. It's like, yeah, it should be there. Like you're throwing it, he's even throwing it over the top, and then if they're late to see it, they'll still go try to not play the ball or play the arms. And it's like, yeah, when those throws need to be viable, you get his hips turned, you get the proper leverage, the ball's delivered, you should be rewarded. So you made the right play, and that's the biggest thing with awareness and other ratings that we've done in particular. Last question: who's your Final Four? Oof. That's a great question. I still like. Come on, Lincoln, you got to find a way, buddy. I'll always be biased. I'll go SC, just please. I'm just hoping. Ohio State, Oregon. Look out for Notre Dame, sadly. You really want 3 of the same teams going back? I could just see it. I just feel like, I know there's a lot there. You could argue Texas. My son, he's going to tell me Bama. Yeah. I know you want something totally different. I get. Different's always good. I know. You do like the playoff, though, right? We'll see what year 2 does. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what year 2 does. I love the playoff. Anything that you can compete in, whether you agree with seeding or not.
That's just the biggest thing. But I think the results that we had last year was not. I think the team that won deserved to win.
Yeah.
I think the path to get there was guinea pigged, and honestly, they made the change already to just make the seating as the top. Whatever. Which I didn't even know about until today. I guess they announced last week, but I'm so busy, so I don't know. But yeah, that's in the game too. The reseeding for the college football playoffs is in the game as well.
Yep.
And college football 26, July 10th. Scott, thanks for your time.
Appreciate you, brother.
And